So everyone knows the notorious Roman Emperor Nero. He is of course the villain in Quo Vadis, which is a book and a famous movie as well as more recently Rick Riordan's Trials of Apollo series. Beyond that, he's known historically as a tyrant and a very impulsive, kind of crazy Roman emperor. However, new work says that he may not have been as bad, according to a new exhibit in the British Museum, which comes in May 2021, titled Nero, the Man Behind the Myth, curated by Thorsten Opper. Nero may not have been quite as bad as a lot of people used to think he was. That's not to say he didn't do a lot of bad things, but that he also may have done some good things as well that he doesn't get as much credit for, and even that some of those bad things that he allegedly did may not have even actually happened. This is all coming from a new Wall Street Journal piece, which was published on May 14th, 2021, so only a couple days before this video is going up. I'll leave a link in the description for it if you guys want to read it for yourselves, or even listen to it. You can listen to it, it's about 5 minutes long on the Wall Street Journal page. But before we get into too much of it, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It helps me because it helps grow the channel, and it helps you guys so you actually know when I upload. So this new exhibit coming May 2021, quote from the Wall Street Journal, "The exhibition includes over 200 artifacts contemporary with Nero's reign, including statues, wall paintings, graffiti, armor, writing tablets, coins, and jewelry." So, for those who don't know much about Nero himself, here's a quick little recap. Nero was a Roman emperor from 54 to 68 AD. He was preceded by his father Claudius, who was actually poisoned by his wife and Nero's mother, Agrippina. Nero is most well known for persecuting Christians, burning the city of Rome, or at the very least fiddling while Rome was burning, committing suicide in a coup after he was considered incompetent, and killing his mom, Agrippina, with his mistress. In terms of his mom, no one really knows exactly what happened with his mom because so many of the historians after Nero, which is where we get most of the history from, were extremely biased against Nero. So a lot of that doesn't really make sense, especially when you look at the fact that most of these sources actually contradict each other a lot. As for the Great Fire, this may be what Nero is most well known for. The Great Fire of 64 AD burned down about 2/3 of Rome. Nero was said to have been fiddling as it burned. In reality, this is actually a point made in the Trials of Apollo book. Fiddles weren't invented yet, so he was probably using a cithara, which is a type of lyre-like thing, if that even happened at all. It is also thought that he may have even caused the fire because he wanted to make room for a new palace. This allegedly turned into persecution of the Christians. After the fire, Nero blamed all the burning on the Christians, and that was what led to one of the biggest Christian persecutions in history. You have a lot of the martyrs coming out of this time. A lot of Christians were either thrown in gladiator pits with animals and eaten and killed by lions and stuff like that, and some were even tied to crosses and then burned alive. This is mostly portrayed in the book and movie Quo Vadis, but now they're saying there may be a new way to look at him with this new work. This has been in the works for some time now. It's not like it's all coming out at once. If you have been paying attention a lot to Nero or the way Nero is portrayed in history within the last 10-20 years, you may have been noticing that it's slowly gotten better and better for Nero. Most of the negative history that we get about Nero is from the anti-Nero regime and anti-imperialists that came after him. Tacitus is one such historian like this who was very against Nero. And with this bad history comes issues of his mom's death, the fire of Rome, if he caused it or if he fiddled, and of course persecution of Christians. All of these things are actually now questioned. We're not actually sure if these even happened, or if they did, the degree to which Nero was actually tied in with this. There is a quote here in the Wall Street Journal as well. A lot of these sources came when there was a new dynasty in power. which made it extremely important to paint the previous dynasty that ended with Nero in the worst possible light. The article also goes on to say a bunch of things that Nero did that were actually positive. Chief among them is that he actually helped slaves and allowed them to file complaints and some protection against very violent and abusive owners. Further, when it comes to the poor people of Rome, he lowered taxes on the poor and also reduced the tariffs on import prices for food, which made it easier for people to eat, and they got to keep more of their money that they had earned. It goes even deeper than that though, because a lot of the ugly busts that we see of Nero, of him kind of being a fat, ugly dude, and some of these have even been CGI'd and brought to see how he might actually look like in real life. He actually probably looks different than those. One of these, for example, is the very fat bust, which I'm showing on the screen right now. Only the middle part of the face may be accurate, but everything else, pretty much everything that makes him look fat and ugly, is actually a restoration from the 1600s, so that's not accurate at all. And if we want a more accurate version, we can actually see that there is a bust of Vespasian, who was another prominent Roman from 69 AD. This is actually believed to have originally been a Nero bust that was just changed up a little bit so as to make it look more like Vespasian. Since this is in the British Museum, of course, there is also a focus on the English front. By this time, of course, England had been part of the Roman Empire. It focuses a bit on the Boeotian revolt. Boeotia, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but Boeotia was a woman that in 60 or 61 AD led a big uprising against the Romans. She was ultimately vanquished and died. The exhibit shows chains and things of that nature that were probably used to take slaves from England back into Rome or to be sold in Rome. This wasn't all bad, however, because Nero actually replaced the governor in England to be one that was much nicer to the Brits, although that was more so to reduce the likelihood of another revolt. So, that's it for this video, guys. I'm curious what you guys think. How bad was Nero really? Again, a lot of the bad things that we attribute to him seem to not have actually happened, or if they did, it didn't really happen in the same way that is portrayed, and Nero probably didn't play as big of a role. Further, he may have actually done some good things for the people of Rome, although, as I've said, most of the history we have of him does not reflect that. Most people really don't see it that way, but that is what the new scholarship and archaeology is starting to come up with. I'm curious what you guys think of videos like this, of me finding something in the news or some new development with history and covering it, just casually letting you guys know what's going on. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you like. Again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.